Hey guys, Sunshine here, Justin. We're going to show you some things that'll arise in communicating with your horse with the five-part series. Sometimes we will do things over and over and over, repetitive, and that becomes drilling. We can create resentment in our horses. So what we want to do if we start to see those signs or the feedback from them that they're resenting what we're doing, we want to make some changes. We want to increase their desire or their curiosity to want to do these things. So sometimes you'll have people that'll watch this five-part series and they'll just do this exact same thing over and over and over, and it gets become real redundant, and the horses really aren't going to tolerate that for very long. Some will longer than others. So what I like to do is I'll ask these same questions, but I'll do it with a obstacle, like a log or the trailer or a rail or a couple of barrels behind me. We can set up obstacles, ground poles, and we can ask horses. I have a bridge. You're only limited by your imagination, but it's important to have a realistic expectation of what you're trying to get from your horse. I'll show you some things, and this horse has been there and done that many times. I've invested the time that it takes. So in problem solving, having a realistic expectation is number one. Having an understanding that it takes the time it takes. You must invest the time that it takes. We're looking for a transformation, not perfection. So some of the things I'll do, I can ask my horse to back up. I'll go ahead and ask him to back up. Start soft. You always start as soft as you want to finish. So I'll start soft and increase the intensity of the question to ask my horse to back up. Now, some horses you're going to start soft and you're not going to get them to back up. So you have to increase the intensity of the question. And here lies that resentment and that drilling. And if you start soft and you stay soft and you keep trying to ask the backup and you start what's called a nagging the horse to back up at these soft little intervals is going to do the opposite of what your expectations are. If I want this horse to back up, I'm going to systematically step up the intensity in increments that are pretty close together. I'm not going to just please back up, and then just really nag him. He's obviously soft and will do it, but you may have to increase that intensity pretty quickly so that the horse can understand. So I'm going to ask him to move to my left. I'll just point. Just pointing and asking my horse to walk calmly, it doesn't start out this way. Time has to be invested to get these results. So say my horse is getting bored and a problem arises to where they're tossing their head, swishing their tail, and maybe they're even kicking out at me. I've got to watch that feedback and I've got to make a change. So what I like to do if something like that happens, I'm going to move them within the arena with the same questions, and we're going to go to an obstacle. So he's still moving, I'm still asking with questions, but I've changed something. We're not just doing a circle, we're moving about the arena together. And there's an obstacle in his way now. So I'm asking him to step over the obstacle. It gives him something else to focus on and concentrate on. It could create curiosity within the horse, and that's exactly what we'd like. And some of those undesirable behaviors that we may have started to see will fall away, because now he has something else to focus on and do, and is not bored to tears. We're not creating resentment in our horses. So some of these things will set you up for success in other things that you'll have ideas for, such as trailer loading. There's going to come a day where you're going to want to ask your horse to get into the trailer. You can ask him questions that you know he knows the answers to accomplish getting into the trailer. So I can push that hip. I can create this draw. I can ground tie, rub him to a stop. So we can do these series of questions and add in obstacles. Create a whole new situation. That was a triggered body responsive relaxation. Got a deep breath. You create a whole new situation to engage in this conversation and create that desire to want to engage in that conversation. So asking those questions, troubleshooting, problem solving, we're going to ask these questions that you know they know the answers to solve these problems that may arise. It's one of those things that the horse will appreciate, you will appreciate, because it's fun and it's engaging. It's one of those things that people and horses can do together and again establish this feedback loop of understanding that I care about myself, I care about you, I want to keep us safe together, engaged in this conversation, and enhance this relationship each and every session that we do. So sometimes you may find yourself getting hung up on something. It's okay to move beyond that. Focus on the strengths the horse has and engage in that conversation in that. If we were starting to do a 5-part series on a brand new horse and backup was good, left, asking them to go to the left, not so good, going to the right's real good, pushing the hip, calling them in, ground tie rub to a stop, all that's great. We got 3 consecutive days to teach this horse the 5-part series. First day is a concept day, then it's a what's what did he retain, what do I get better at presenting. Maybe whenever I want to turn in the direction he's sticky, that second day is when we'll focus more energy on that. Third day is a polishing day. Like everything's going good, but you know I ask him to push his hip and come forward. He'll push his hip and then he stops. So we'll polish that coming forward on the third day. Maybe first and second day you're aware of it, but you're not going to focus too much on it to keep things flowing and not get hung up on something. So problem solving is getting to know this individual on a deeper level. The 5-part series are a great way to do it, but I caution you on drilling the horse to where he becomes resentful. Understanding you have to invest the time that it takes to do what it is you're expecting. I like the 3 days. I like the concept day. I like to show them the concept, and the expectation is a concept. It's not perfection. We're transforming this relationship, not perfection. We're not expecting perfection. So in doing these things, if you start to see your horse is getting resentment, boredom, make a change. It's okay to make a change. You can throw in other obstacles, and that'll allow you to create a different scenario, create some interest. Horses are going to have 3 characteristics they predominantly display, especially in a wild horse: fear, curiosity, and then confidence. You know, that's what we're after. We want a confident horse that wants to do what it is we're asking them to do. Starts on the ground, transfers to their back. If for any reason you transfer to their back and there's a sticky situation, you can do the same exact things that we do on the ground. Make a change. Create a different situation to where they're engaging and enjoying. He's having tension in the mouth releases. Those are good things. On the ground tie, relaxing with me. This was a once wild horse. Considered untrainable. Would bolt, raising my hand too high, too quick. Ground tying was not even in the cards. So I invested the time that it took to get to this result. He is soft. He's a sensitive horse. How did I find that out? I asked him a series of 5 questions. I found out he is a sensitive horse. He's very responsive. Doesn't take much pressure to get a response out of this type horse. That is something that will reveal itself to you as you engage in these conversations with the 5-part series. So if you have any questions pertaining to this video, you can ask on our app or in our online group. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hug your horse and let them relax. Bye-bye.